For more on what to make of today's developments inside and outside the courtroom, let's bring in criminal defense and trial attorney Brian Claypool. Brian, great to see you. If you're the defense going into closing arguments tomorrow, what are the points that you really want to hit?
3 words, Trace. Where's the evidence? That's going to be the defense argument tomorrow. I mean, they are going to hammer the fact that the guns were not found, that there's very little blood anywhere, that the minor amount of gunshot residue could have come from somewhere else a year ago. And then you add in this evidence toward the end of the trial where 2 shooters, based on the trajectory of the bullets and where the bullets ended up. And on top of that, then you had evidence that from an expert saying the shooter had to be between 5'2" and 5'5", and Murdaugh is 6'4". Yeah. So there's a lot to work with in the defense closing argument.
When you see the crime scene, I mean, it was horrific. Are you surprised after the trial, Brian, that there's not more physical evidence that was presented during the trial?
Yeah, I'm not real surprised about that. What I am surprised about, talking about like the brain matter of Paul being on the ground, was the lack of human emotion coming from Murdaugh. I think that's his one area that's going to hurt in this case.
Yeah, fair.
I thought there should have been much more emotion when he testified. You see your loved one's dead right there. His soul was devoid of emotion, Trace, and I think that really is going to play against him when the jury deliberates.
The prosecution said this today, Brian. I'll get your response on the other side. Watch.
After an exhaustive investigation, there is only one person who had the motive, who had the means, who had the opportunity to commit these crimes, and also whose guilty conduct after these crimes betrays him.
Were you compelled? Were you swayed at all by the prosecution?
Look, this has been a heavyweight boxing match, Trace, and I think prosecution had this in the middle of the trial. They had some good arguments when Murdaugh went in there, lied to law enforcement, and then you had all the evidence of the financial crimes, right? So leading up to the last couple of days, I thought the prosecution might be able to get a conviction. But when you now look at the fact that there could have been another shooter, and then let's talk about this evidence nobody's talking about. The coroner admits on the stand that the shooting could have taken place up till 10 o'clock at night. That is colossal, because now that gives an hour for somebody else to possibly have come in and committed the double murders.
Yeah.
So is there reasonable doubt? I think you might find one or 2 jurors that find it, and I think you might end up with a hung jury.
The jury gets it possibly tomorrow, likely tomorrow, today, whatever side of the coast you're on. Brian Claypool, any last picks? You think this is a not guilty?
I think that no, he's definitely not gonna be not guilty. It's either a guilty or a hung jury. I predict a hung jury, and by the way, I think you're going to see several days of deliberation, up to 4 to 5 days. This will not be a quick verdict.
Interesting. Brian Claypool, we'll get back to you as the verdict comes in. Thank you.